Well, hey guys, it's Jazz, and we're broadcasting live from the Starfish mission in downtown San Francisco. This is the, if you don't know, now you know, the epicenter for decentralization. So we have a lot of folks in the tech space and the world of blockchain and cryptocurrency who are essentially forging ahead into what I call frontier level technology. Things that show potential, they show promise, and yet we have so far to go until these things are implementable and able to be disseminated at the same level of saturation as the technology that we're currently using right now. And whenever you step out on a limb and try something new and try something different, two things happen. You get people who will support you and cheer you on, but much more likely and in much greater number, you get people who are going to try to discourage you, who are going to doubt you, who are going to ridicule you. And as a creative person, as a musician and a composer and a podcaster, and someone who went from being a musician to a meditation teacher to working in finance, to doing coaching and podcasting, and getting into the tech world, I'm no stranger to people telling me that I was trying to do things I had no business doing. Maybe you're in the same boat. And what I would say is there's a concept that I love to use as a framework for understanding where we're at in these processes, both individually and on a macro level as a culture, which is the diffusion of innovation bell curve. So if you're not familiar with this, the way it goes, just imagine a bell curve like that. And at the extreme end, you've got the innovators themselves. These are the Steve Jobs, the Richard Bransons, the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffetts of the world, people who saw things much further out than everyone else. Literally the first people to do whatever it was they were doing, right? And then after that, you've got the early adopters. And these are people who, this is like the second or third couple to come onto the dance floor, right? The innovators are just that one guy who's crazy enough to walk out into an empty room with every single person staring at him going, that guy can't dance for shit, right? So the early adopters are the people who, they're riding your momentum. They're what actually creates the momentum. And then you've got the early majority. And then you've got the late majority, and then you've got the laggards. Now, a laggard is someone who will basically only use a smartphone when they literally can't get their flip phone replaced or repaired somewhere, right? People who don't really embrace change, they just change because what they're used to is now literally obsolete, right? So we all want to be at that phase where people are just jumping onto our bandwagon and things are happening for us really quickly, this avalanche of success and momentum, right? The age of being Instagram famous and Twitter storms and social media, broadly speaking, YouTube celebrities, has really, I would say, messed with our idea of understanding how real movements actually develop, which is more slowly, more organically, less instant gratification, and more of the long, hard road of really getting in there and putting in the work, right? So this diffusion of innovation bell curve, I think, is an amazing way to keep all those things in perspective, because you have to recognize that most of us in the blockchain and crypto space are actually either innovators or early adopters. We don't even have an early majority right now. If you go on Instagram and you go on various subreddits, it would look like this is just exploding. If you stay in a very niche environment where everyone is talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain, because guess what, they all have ICOs they're promoting, you could think this is just everywhere, right? How many software developers do I meet where I ask them, what do you do for work? And they go, guess. Like as if the only thing anyone is doing is developing software, right? So when you get in your bubble, it's easy to lose perspective. But when you look at it like, well, I'm at the bleeding edge of a frontier level technology, and all we've got are early adopters. Well, what does that mean for you as someone working in that space? I think it means that you are going to have more detractors than supporters. That your detractors are not to be written off entirely, because there can be sort of an in-group bias or groupthink or factor going on in the community of specialists and enthusiasts. And while it's good to be in nurturing environments where your dreams and your ambitions are supported and maybe even monetized and funded, on the other hand, it's good to have, I would say, not just well-meaning, but educated, intelligent, and informed detractors around you, because really it can be easy to be foolhardy and to be overly enthusiastic, overly ambitious, and forget just how early into this you really are, right? So, one of the things I love about the Starfish co-working space over here in SF is that you get all these different kinds of people who are working kind of at the same, in the same area from all these different angles. And it's a great way to have your assumptions checked. It's a great way to run into people who are much more knowledgeable and proficient at these things than you are. But you also get that community aspect of it. So again, diffusion of innovation, right? Early innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. Take a look at where you're at in that. I think that kind of perspective just gives a lot more peace of mind and allows you to actually work on what's really in front of you more diligently.